At some point during the discussion, questions were raised about how well the companies are doing collaborating with relevant supervising agencies. Mr. Obi Ezeude urges some of the agencies to pick up pace on cycle of documentation and approvals.
Over the years, we've been working closely with them and they are very supportive. What we have discovered very recently is that it now takes a whole lot of time for you to go from the design of a product to the market. Before, we used to have what we call fast track. You know, for somebody in an industry where they know the quality, the standard is there, you can be given a fast track approval. But for the past 1 year or two, now you have to queue up 3 months, 6 months, 7 months, you're waiting, we don't have approval. So that is one of the problems we have. Now, in relation to Sun is faster now in the sense that if you want Sun Cap, or if you want any approval to bring in machineries, or this thing, they're a little bit fast right now and very automated. With respect to Sun, again, one of their good part is that they're one of the few agencies now that every quarter, once you have their man-cap approval, they will come for their routine inspection. And then, you know, if they find any gaps, they will always tell you, on how you can close those gaps and come back to make sure that it's done. So generally, in terms of the relationship with the agency, they're very supportive.
Next, it was time to get some comments, questions and feedback from the audience. Representative from Elephant Group PLC, Mr. Akin Ogumbi, commends the Bank of Industry for providing businesses with potential a chance in the marketplace.
BOI is one of the expressways wherein people can get to the market where they sell potentials. That's taken. I would like to also commend BOI because in my own interface with them, very much unlike what we see in a number of other places, I don't want to mention names, I didn't have anybody in BOI call me behind and say, Oga, load 1% for me or load 2% for me in this facility outside the whatever. I think that's also equally very commendable.
This man representing the Lagos Chamber of Commerce hopes to see a shorter turnaround time of loan disbursements.
If you're not getting your working capital or whatever the bank is making available at that time, it may not you may not be able to maximize the use of that capital, or it may not be too meaningful at the end of the day. Let's say, for instance, somebody, the window is between January and March, and he cannot get the funds at that time, and he's getting in August. It may not be wise.
Dr. Olufunmilayo Agbato from Animal Care, producers of Funtuna eggs, raises the issue of having to contend with commercial banks to get funds out after loans have been disbursed.
After having put in an application to BOI, the BOI has done its own part of the job. Eventually, the application is approved. We still have the commercial banks to contend with. What we have experienced over the time is that the commercial banks now sit over that money and start dictating all sorts of conditions. So something you have waited for so long, you still have to wait another at least 1 month or even over before you finally arrive at the point of disbursement. Please, whatever BOI can do, to correct this on the part of the commercial banks will be well appreciated.
Once done with the panel, the Executive Director, Small and Medium Enterprises at the Bank of Industry, Mr. Waheed Olagunju, puts all the talking points into perspective.
And according to FSS, the industry average last year was about 15% MPL. We're able to report these impressive performances because you are performing. And in particular, the agro-processing, I'm not sure what your contribution is to the NPL, if it exists at all. It speaks to the quality of the deal flows and the performance of our customers in this particular sector. So we're indeed very, very grateful to you. The timing, yes, we are working very hard to ensure that we cut down the timelines so that our turnaround time is reduced. That's the only way we can handle high volumes. We know we've lost many years development-wise, and the challenges are enormous. Nigerians are impatient. The developmental impact by way of multiplier effects are much, much higher in the agricultural sector than in other sector in terms of job and wealth creation. And we know as a DFI, we have two bottom lines, financial viability and developmental impact. So we know that the more we do, the higher the developmental impact, the more jobs we create for our people, the higher the living standard. So we're in it together. Most of the issues that have been raised will be looked at by the management and certainly by the board. I can also assure you that the board we have today in the bank is the strongest ever in the history of the bank. And I can say so authoritatively, having been company secretary for 15 years at some point in time. So once again, on behalf of the MD, the board of directors, our colleagues in the bank, we say thank you for coming. We'll take the feedback away to the bank. Rest assured that the feedback will serve as input into our processes.
That's our show for today. Many thanks for watching. The Bank of Industry maximizes every opportunity to reach and engage its existing and potential customers so as to learn how to serve them better. The intervention of the Bank of Industry spans well over 40 identified business clusters across all sectors of the Nigerian economy. Find out where you belong and position your business for the much-needed support. Take the first step right now. Log on to BOI.ng or visit any of the bank's branches closest to you. They have at least offices in 22 states across the country. I'm also available for any inquiries. Just tweet at me at KAY Alayande. To see previous edition of the program, log on to youtube.com and type BOI Weekly in the search area. And there you go. I'm Kayode Alayande. Bye now.